Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday, July 23rd at, well, it's supposed to be 222, but I'm running late. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm great. I'm good today. Yeah, vibing high after a great BQH session I did yesterday. So yeah, still enjoying that. It's been quite the week of energy since we last talked. So really
Yeah.
been feeling that. Mm-hmm.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Are you able to say who you at your session with? Or
Yeah, my good friend Travis.
Travis. So he took the course.
Yeah, yeah,
What, did he like the course? I guess I
yeah,
should have him on to talk about it, but I
yeah.
thought the course was really cool.
Yeah, no, he's really enjoyed it and enjoying the process. So it was really great fun and a good connection. He's got a great voice for it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, really good voice for it. So
Yeah, you
um,
let me hear a little excerpt of it before we went live. You want to talk
it
about
was
that?
the best. It was the best. So this experience uh, was different in a way that it wasn't actually as much visual as really impressing energy, sensations of energy resonance on me. Um, and so it's really hard to translate a lot of the information, but at the end of it, when we were closing up and I was really getting blasted, really blissing out with this energy, and then I just started, there was no thoughts going on in my head, it was just sensation. And then I just started laughing, I just started howling, laughing like giddy, silly, uncontrollable laughing. And yeah, that was pretty funny. Couldn't stop laughing. So I
And it's
played that for
contagious.
Shane. Yeah.
Yeah, I laughed. You laughed again.
But
Travis was
Travis was
laughing.
laughing.
Yeah.
And it felt so good. It felt so good. The laughter was just such a relief. Then there was, then I actually went into sobbing from the relief and then back into laughing. And so yeah, it really left me buzzing yesterday, and even continued on like through the rest of the day, and laying down in a meditation later on in the day. It was just really wanted to impress this sensation on me,
Mm-hmm.
and this growing energy that I have become familiar with over the last 2 months, even more every day, feeling it more. And this just really seemed to solidify it, like blossom that heart sensation. It's kind of like pressure. Um, uh, and Yeah, it was just really pushing that on me, and breathe, how to breathe this in and breathe it in through the heart, and how it's like exhaling it into like our environment, and that's how it's like shifting it. So yeah, really hard to translate any of the information. It was more a lot of sensations of energy that I was experiencing, which was really fun.
So it's awesome. It's like one of those releases, like we talked about with
Yeah,
crying or something like that.
such great laughter. It really, at the end of all of it, and part of why I felt like it didn't want to get into specific details and everything was just to not take everything so seriously. It was like when being in that energy, you just, it's not all so serious, um yeah, it's just a completely different thing. And it was really good to have that sort of instilled back in, and really breathe that in and experience it and just feel the lightness of it, the lightness of being in that. Um and how to not take everything so seriously.
That's a
Hmm.
great point. It is. It's like taking yourself too seriously is sort
Yes.
of being in the ego too much. Whenever I guess you feel too. That's why when you can laugh at yourself about something along with everyone else, it feels so much
Yeah.
better because you've sort of detached from the emotion of everybody does something silly or stupid at some point. So,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's
really release of all judgment and
yeah,
expectation of, yeah, it really is of experience or others or,
yeah,
and you just so full of joy. So full of joy. It's like, why would you be serious? You know?
yeah,
Why wouldn't you be laughing when like everything is so full of joy? So,
yeah.
mhm.
And it's sort of getting beyond that point of everything that comes at you, sort of controlling your mood that you're in. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
stepping out of that and just realizing that I could just stay in this blissful place all the time.
that's what it felt like. It really felt like it was reminding me that I could just really laugh at all of it.
Yeah,
It really felt like that. It wasn't that I was laughing at anything particular, but at the same time, it was kind of like it was telling me that you could laugh like this at everything. That's really how it kind of felt like in the don't take everything so seriously, because like when you're like in that energy, like that's how silly you would find some of these things.
yeah,
Yeah. And it was refreshing. It was really refreshing. I really needed that. And I think and I remembered afterwards in processing, it later on in the day, that when I had said intentions the day previously in prayer and thought about what I wanted to open up or know more of, and that was happiness. That was happiness, just plain simple happiness. I've come to greater understandings of things, and a stable emotional sort of foundation, um but I was missing the spark of that real happiness, that enthusiasm, that giddiness and silliness, and that was kind of making me feel a little down.
yeah,
Like I could feel good about my process and where I'm at and why, and having deeper understandings, and see and understand where I'm at, all those things, and feel good about it. But I wasn't feeling the real the real excitement and the real giddiness, just the plain silly happiness.
yeah, yeah. It's like surfing, isn't it? It's hard to stay at that sweet spot all the time. You know.
It is.
So
It is.
what kind of do you have any? What do you do to sort of try to pull yourself back up on top of the wave and because that's really like a daily, it's sort of like Jesus said, taking up your cross daily. It is like it's a task to sort
Sometimes,
of,
yeah, more.
because it really is. I mean, just with that terminology, there's a deeper meaning in the taking up the cross because it's your ego that pulls you down ultimately. So
Yeah.
like we want to nail our ego to the cross daily and not be driven by it. So it's really a pretty good picture
Yeah.
of how we live daily. It's sort of been twisted into something else, but I think it's really about being in the moment, because when you're in the moment, you are connected to that higher presence. You're in the moment.
Yeah.
It's the ego that sort of pushes you to worry about something that happened or something that's gonna happen. You know.
And you know what? A lot of the words that you were saying was a lot of the knowing that was kind of getting impressed on me.
Mm-hmm.
In knowing this feeling, this feeling, see this feeling right here, Michelle. That's what you want to be breathing in that each moment, and creativity, and moving forward, looking how you can put that out, and don't worry about these thoughts. Like it was showing me how that ego mind kind of hops up and does that. And it was like, don't worry about that, don't worry about that song and dance, don't worry about that song and dance, know this, know this, know this, know this feeling right here. Breathe it in, breathe it in, and
Because it's always
exhale it,
available to
literally
you.
exude it out your pores.
Yeah, it's always there.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a magnetic pull. You can feel it. You can feel the strength of it in your heart. I think if some people are really um experiencing this real heart opening that we've had over the last couple months. It's like a growing pressure within the heart. It's very physical sensations to it, a real awareness of this and a connection to it that is growing exponentially. And yeah, all of this was just reminding me that, breathing that in through each moment, and it's pulling myself to do that. I do have to push myself to do that every day, like you said, every
Well, everything's like
day.
a distraction to keep you from doing that, or to make you forget that, hey, it's always there. This very moment, you can breathe that in. And, it's helpful to have, even if you can put on that tape and hear yourself laughing and go back to that
hear myself laughing. And and I think, anything like, well, what do you do to get yourself, well, listen to something that makes you laugh, right?
Yeah. Or music,
put on something silly, or music, or we don't feel like doing those things, but I, pushing myself to every single day, even when I don't feel like it. I've just made the habit that I go play the piano every day.
Mm-hmm.
every single day. Some days it makes me feel even better than others, but pretty much generally, like now, I'm going to play the piano a couple times a day because it makes me feel so good. And like, I want you to show your drawing that you've been working on. That's a great example of feeling your way through an experience in thought, not a pre-thought out plan, but following a thread of inspiration, and just putting pen to paper.
Yeah,
The
you actually
simplicity of
inspired
it.
me.
Thanks,
How
buddy.
cool is that you can look and say,
It's fantastic.
look at what my inspiration did. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I should have actually
Yeah,
taken a
I love
picture
it.
of it so I could present it better here, but it's
Yeah, this
gonna
is
be.
great.
I'm lining it up for them, so it might be a little low for you,
Yeah,
but anyway, it's just me just
there we
doodling
go.
along on there. Oh, actually, you can see the green screen.
The simplicity of a line on a piece of paper and how that can make you feel.
Yeah.
If that inspires you, if that makes you passionate, if that brings out that feeling for you, we all are, very different, right? So
That's pretty cool. Looking, the
I
leaves
love it.
are disappearing on there from the green screen.
Yeah. Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun, and it's like that. I don't know, just that feeling, when you're in class and you're staring out the window and daydreaming, and
Hmm.
you
The
know,
other thing that does that for me is my dogs. Big time.
yeah,
Big time.
you can find that in everything. Though, I mean, from
Yeah.
looking at flowers, your grandchild, or
Yeah.
it's
It's
always
really
there.
taking that time to appreciate the presence of who is, like, with you, even.
Yeah,
Like, I don't take my dogs for granted.
yeah,
And I feel like a real energy exchange. When I'm with them, there's a mutual energy exchange. When I'm with them, I'm with them.
yeah,
I'm, I'm really with them, and they've helped teach me that difference. We can be in the
yeah,
presence of somebody, but are we really, with them, or are we somewhere else in our head?
yeah.
Yeah, and that really helps ground me a lot. And yeah, bring me that simple happy peace.
Yeah, it's funny that I was overhearing two of my daughters the other day arguing about something. I couldn't even tell what it was, but typically I just hear the tone of the voice and the fact that they're arguing, and get triggered by it, like, hey, knock it off or whatever.
Right.
But this time I sat there and I'm just listening, observing I couldn't really make anything out. But what I could make out is them two going back and forth, and my grandson saying, no, no. He's like, he could tell it was escalating into something, you know what I mean? Like this argument, and they're totally
Yeah.
ignoring him. And I'm like blown away that he's like, no. And he's like getting louder and louder, like trying to
Yeah.
stop them
Yeah.
from arguing or whatever. And I'm like, I went out there, I'm like, if you guys would just listen to,
Listen to him.
the
He's
baby
not.
telling you to stop,
Yeah. That's
So,
it, exactly. That's it, kind of a good example. They're so too busy needing to be heard that they're not willing to listen,
yeah.
right? That's such a big problem. It is. And
With
I
siblings,
think,
especially.
yeah,
Siblings are very, they can test you, I'm sure
of
anybody that has them
course.
knows.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I think, that's a great it's a great way to look at things sometimes, to switch it around within yourself, as opposed to focusing. Am I focusing on my need to be heard? You know,
Yeah.
or yeah, should I be listening? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it
Not all
is
the time.
yeah.
We should be listening, but
It's liberating to let stuff go though and realize that, it's fun to look into stuff, but not to have to push any sort of agenda or feel responsible for waking people up, because you realize that people find you when it's time.
it's not your job.
Even if you're heavily shadow banned, right?
Yes, seriously. I was telling Shane, like, it's definitely, if I used to be able to just put UNB and it would
Yeah.
just come up autofill in the search, right? For YouTube. It would just go unbiased on fence, right? You're in my, obviously I'm subscribed. Like, it should come up right away with autofill. No, it
Yeah.
does not. You think when you'd get to the and symbol, unbiased, like that, it would, no, you have
I
to
was
type in every single letter of your title now and hit enter to get the search.
I wonder why.
Shadow banning. Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
That's what it
Really.
is. That's a perfect example of it right there. Why?
Well,
Yeah, why? What
this
have you
is
said?
this is how I noticed. I went to find a video of my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I typed it in, unbiased on the fence, and then like whatever it was about, and it brought up someone else's channel where I was on there, and they put unbiased on the fence in their title. I'm like, wait a minute, why is a different channel coming up? So I don't
Yeah.
know what I did. I upset somebody, but I have no idea.
Yeah, well.
They didn't
Just keep
sneak and offer me anything. I wasn't approached and said, hey, come work for us. Start start spreading that fear. We'll start putting some money in your pocket and stuff. So it's not like.
Well, I think that the enticement is there. The money's to be made in YouTube by following certain formats.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's kind of why I chose to step away from that too, is because I don't, like, I could choose to make money on YouTube, but I don't want to follow the restrictions as they are right now, or the formats for success that they have right now,
Hmm.
at this point in time. So that's definitely, so how much of, I want to invest, but at the same time, I totally want to, do my share to share this experience, right? Give
Yeah.
hope and affirmations to other people, and just kind of put that out there. So thank God I have you to continue doing that. And I hope I can really feel like I can invest back in my channel again in some way. Certainly not. It's not even the monetary thing. It's more the control format. But we'll see what happens. I'm really hopeful. They've have had some talks recently about getting something done about the biases that are going on in our social media systems. So I am hopeful that that's going to change. It won't stay like this the way that it is right now. But
I talk pretty freely on here, but I do try to play at least somewhat by their rules or talk around it or something like that. So I don't really know
yeah,
what could have possibly angered them enough
and
be
that's
so
the thing,
heavily
is to think
censored.
about how much that you have, really, like, how much you've really tried to keep things clean, not tell people exactly what they're supposed to be thinking and believing, just kind of really
Yeah.
discussing open ideas. You're not pushing negativity. So, wow, if you can get shadow banned, I mean, I think that's a lot. Like, that's pretty
Not
crummy.
heavily political.
No, no, you're
So
not
it's not
on
a
here
political thing.
talking,
I don't think
talking
it's a political thing. I mean,
Trump all
because
the
I've heard,
time, or
right, I've heard people say it's a right wing thing or something like that. But even
obviously
at that,
not just that. Yeah,
maybe that
yeah.
you just get certain points for certain things, and a few of my videos added up to a few too many points in one area, or you never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
I,
They talking about things outside of the box. It's not conformity. Right. I think that's it. They're not, it's not conformity.
yeah,
It's not a do it yourself video or funny cat video or baby video.
yeah,
Um so
which are all cute. But yeah, it's yeah. Ronnie's asking me to, I guess, talk about the ways you can get a hold of me. Of course, you can do it through my website, uotf.net, just below my name here. And on there's also a forum. There's a contact page with my email address. You can email me directly at shanecrob@gmail.com. Of course, Michelle's email's on the screen, so if you'd like to share any of your experiences or have any questions or anything, wolf.art101@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do a live call-in show on Friday nights, 7 to 10. And that is what the talk shoe part is about, she's mentioning. And you can join that from the website. But so, yeah, now we got all that out of the way.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So how have you been feeling yourself this week? Have you been noticing any differences with the energy at all, or hearing from people with different experiences? Or
I've been waking up feeling like, and I don't know if this had happened last week, if I mentioned the whole waking up really sore, like I'd been, helping someone move the day before or something, and my body's just really sore. It's almost like coming back into my body. It's like, where's my body been this whole time? It's
right.
It almost felt like coming back to a body, and my body had been through some stuff that I wasn't with it during that time. You know what I mean? I could totally see somebody thinking they got abducted or something, feeling like that. Like, why am I so sore? And it's sort of like surgery feels like that. You wake up, like, you could tell you weren't there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surgery's like that. So
you go to get up out of bed and you're like, why is this so hard?
Right. So, having that grogginess feeling, but waking up sore is a whole nother aspect to it. So I did want to mention that. So if anybody else is waking up sore, it is, I guess, similar to like flu achiness.
Yep.
But it's way more intense. It's like your car broke down in the middle of traffic and you got out and pushed it with a bunch of adrenaline and like to where your legs turn into noodles. Yeah. And then like the next day it's like, oh my God, why did I do that? And it's like you really injured. Feeling like that, like serious pain,
Yeah. Well, I know my mom was really feeling like jelly legs. Like, what did I run a marathon or something? Like, I did some stuff outside, but it doesn't merit this sensation. Like, I feel like where your legs sort of just can't even support you. Like, they're so tired, the muscles are so tired or whatever. So I know she was really experiencing that. And I had it the previous week, really felt that in my bones. I think we talked about that, like almost feeling in my bone marrow, the ache so bad. But yeah, it's like, for me, it's just kind of gone in spurts. It goes in spurts of energy that may hit in like the neck and shoulders. But I've been like on it all the time, just trying to do what I need to in a meditative state to process the energy, pull it through, flush through whatever I can. It really does feel like a rapid acceleration of the sifting process, really refining in detail now. So, and a real push to do it, it feels like.
I've been feeling a lot of energy.
It can be bone crunching sometimes.
Yeah. And the energy in the heart area, just a very excited feeling emanating, I don't know, in and out from the heart area, real strong lately. So I don't know if that's just me personally,
huge.
Or if it's coming in right now, or
I can't stress it enough. That's really what I'm.
You can really tap into it, and if you tap into it for too long or too deep, it can almost just make you start crying. It's very intense. I mean,
it is very deep.
But it's there. It's there, and it's available to tap into, but it's overwhelming too.
Yeah, I really feel like it's this precious seed that has like sprouted, that has really sprouted within us now, and it's really developing a relationship to this. And I think that's why it's so important, this distinction, really seeing clearly this distinction of sort of the ego thinking mind, and then really learning to listen and love this energy, and know this energy, and know it as yourself. And I really feel the rapid growth of it. It can come in as pressure, but I feel it's very responsive energy, like in communication. Like, it really responds to my thoughts or questions or whatever. I can feel that fluttery response. And that was really impressed on me in this session that I had. It's all in the heart now. This is really where it's going to burst forth from. And it's like it was showing me this inflating, that feeling, that sensation in the heart that's really growing. And it was like showing it like a balloon, like filling and filling, like and by continuing to breathe in through the heart and breathe in that sensation and grow that sensation. It's like this balloon that just fills and fills and fills and fills and then just pops. So that I was really getting the impression of that. It was very cartoony, almost the way that it was showing to me, like in slow motion, how it just pops and then permeates everything. And yeah.
Well, Shiny was saying that she'd gotten, she's actually at work now, but she had mentioned it earlier, that felt like she got a big blast. So I just said I would mention it today. So if anybody else felt like they got a big blast, energy blast last night.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think especially from the 17th onward there, I think there was a real new blast that has come in. I think that the BQH session allowed me to process it yesterday. Yeah. So I processed a lot of that. But yeah, the 17th, moving forward, I think especially the 17th, the 20th, and over the last few days. But I think that was really pivotal. I really feel like something came in with the 17th, that was really important.
See, it's okay. So the 17th is when I went and got out in nature and got away from the electronics and.
Good.
So it's funny that I do those things and then I feel something from it, but then you don't know if it's because something new is happening or if it's because I got away from the electronics.
Yeah, I think it's because you know to do that. Like I think just like I had it. I don't think it was coincidence that it worked out setting up the BQH session on the 22nd. I think that's all preparation. And I think you're aware of preparing yourself for the energy coming in, so you get yourself out in nature and do that because you're more in sync with that now too. So you just kind of don't question it. You just kind of naturally go with, well, that's what I need to do today.
Yeah.
And you do it because that's what you needed to do that day to help you receive that energy. So it's symbiotic. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exciting times though.
It is. It is.
Someone mentioning sinus headache, Jody.
Yeah.
Severe
the
sinus
pressure
headache
in the forehead here, guys, can be a lot right now and really go down into the sinuses. Yeah. But it can, that can be a lot of pressure. I experience a lot in the forehead now.
Let's see, any other symptoms?
What I've been doing, actually, just I'll mention this quickly, and with some of you talked about, like, you do get that pressure, and you mentioned like the pressure sticks so much in the head that it's actually a distraction.
Yeah.
I might suggest using it as a cue to then turn your attention into the heart, because when we start focusing on this so much and the pressure so much, you're like, wow, and you're up here more, which we are receiving through here, but if you can maybe use it as a little reminder to pull yourself back down to your heart, to zone back into that energy. See if you can find that energy in the heart and breathing through that, and that'll really help pull it through. It eases that up. It takes the attention magnified on here and helps really pull it through. So I'd really like to suggest that if you've been experiencing it, it's helped me a lot, and I've found that I've been using it as a cue to do so, that when that pressure does really fill, I'm not focusing entirely on that. I'm pulling that attention and awareness down to the heart.
It's like chakra notifications.
Yeah, and it really makes a difference to, I think, help process that. Yeah.
So one of the things I was wondering about is, see what you think about this, is because you got to wonder if certain types of energy, like there's like third eye energy coming in, heart energy coming in, or if it's like you've just got the pure love light energy coming in, and we just have certain blockages or attractions to certain if there's a little bit of both, or if there's, what's going on with that, because it seems like everyone experiences things
Yes,
differently.
we're all different. It's like I feel like we're like these bottles, right, with all this debris and stuff that's
So
been
is it like
stuck on the inside, and we're just
is
getting rinsed out. But it's different for each of us.
right? So you
Yeah.
think it's blockages, or do you think it's more like you're just sort of tuned in? Like maybe if you're more in a loving mood, you're more tuned into that love vibration, and therefore that's what you know, like Abraham Hicks talks about, whatever you vibrate at, you attract. So
Well, I think it really does flush stuff up though too. So it
yeah,
can be really confusing. And that's where it can kind of get confusing um and we're taking the time to understand the difference um in these things flushing up. Is it mine right now? Is it someone else's, or is it something from the past? Um so that can be confusing, and we all are rinsing out differently, and we have different stuff in it that comes up and that gets pushed up. But
hmm
yeah, so it can be really confusing with that, as far as, why am I experiencing this as a blockage, or am I experiencing this as the actual energy, or am I experiencing this the we're experiencing the energy in a variety of different ways based on our own individual makeup and what is needed at that time to process and clear all of this. So that's why it ends up being so individual. Yet at the same time, we can experience a lot of the same symptoms, but
yeah.
we're going to purge in different ways. We're going to be rinsing this out in different ways. We have different debris left behind, and different makeup, and different purposes too, and different goals. Ultimately all the same, but it's different process goals, I would say. So
Yeah, such an array of different personalities and different
mhm.
stories and then different baggage that we pick up along the way. It's, you know,
Yeah, yeah. And all you can really do is, in one sense, you don't want to overthink things too much. You know, y- just sort of finding the essence or the heart of where something is coming from, and then then you're able to release it. It's a fine balance between picking everything apart and with your mind,
right.
but then searching, I think, with your heart, where things are stemming from and what you're experiencing. Because
So
yeah.
is there any big energy dates coming up? Somebody was saying that we had
25th.
an event date for yesterday. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even hear about that one, but you know,
Yeah.
I missed it.
We've been through so many dates, eh?
Yeah,
We're getting energy all the time, and I think I at this point think, to even have one date, I think we're all having so many individual experiences. Could be big collective experiences, but um yeah, really release the date thing. I still think that there's a, a an apex moment, like that there really is a sort of massive shift. um but I'm not focusing on the past, the future too much. Is just trying to process the experience of now, and in order to bring that in, whatever it may be. Hmm.
so thank you very much, Ronnie. You're so sweet. I've been noticing, just I stroll around YouTube and stuff, but
Hmm.
I've been noticing between what I've felt like I've been getting in like BQH sessions and things like that. Just about, and I'm going to release, I believe it was Jean's. I'm going to release hers pretty soon. I've got to do some editing with it or whatever. But it was all about, really loving the earth and putting that energy into the earth, and evolving with the earth, because we're like all one, right? I mean, it's like we're here right now, it's part of us. But I've been noticing other people saying, this is not my home. I want out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. And it's sort of like rejecting, it's not sending good vibes at the earth. You know what I
I'm
mean?
glad you brought this up. I really am, because that's some of the information that I've been processing through this week too. Is really about, like, I understand that, but yeah, at the same
So when
time,
I see that while I'm out and
yeah.
about, but I know I've been being dealt with the exact opposite, then you can sort of see this hidden battle going on, if you will, between
Yeah.
loving the earth or rejecting it. And,
Yeah.
and we have no idea how much just a single person's intentions and love sent at the earth, there's this exponential effect that happens with the energies. So if you're
Yeah.
sending rejection at it, it's just having the opposite effect. And
Yeah. And I listened to a great recording. I'll see if I can look it up later and put it in the comments for you guys if you're interested. But it was really about choosing to be here, and how, yeah, we get told, oh, you chose to be here. Well, I chose this. I'm like, I chose this. I'm like,
not
okay,
Ronnie.
apparently I chose this. But
Right.
that's, it doesn't feel like that. It was really great. And he kind of switched things around to, what if, to say that you were chosen for this.
Mm-hmm.
And because you were chosen for this, you choose to be here. There was a real difference in the energy of understanding, like, oh, apparently I chose this. Whatever stuff, right?
Right.
But that,
And then you start feeling like, I wonder if they disclosed all of what I'd have to go through at the time. Was it
yeah, yeah,
fair? How did this
yeah,
exchange take place?
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. Can
So,
I read that contract? Yeah.
so
Um,
it does. It puts you sort of in that victim mentality, like you're coming here as a victim instead of
blindsided.
as
Yeah,
like a hero, which we should
yeah.
all be heroes in our own life, in whatever way
Hmm.
we, you know.
But it was a really interesting concept he was sharing, to really understand what it means to choose to be here, and if that we actually really 100% to choose to be like within this moment,
Yeah.
as opposing to constantly um yearning to be out of it.
Hmm.
This big part of what's actually keeping us disconnected, and that if collectively we really all chose to be here in that moment, in
Yeah.
that way, what a difference it would make. And I have to wonder, and they talk about sort of infiltration into the spiritual community, and how maybe they have like infiltrated that to sort of send mixed messages to hold things back. And I did contemplate, sort of, a lot of the ideas of this getting out of here and going to this 5D earth, and there's a better place for you. We just have to get out of here and we're all leaving, right? And how that really can put things off the track. You're yearning to get out of here, so you're choosing not to be here. And the fact is, choosing to be here and make this our experience is how we make this work. I think, like, that's what we came to do,
But
is
that
to
also
bring that
keep,
in. Hmm.
yeah, but that also keeps you in the future instead of in the present. If you're waiting for something, then you're constantly in the
Yearning.
future and you're not present, in the very
No,
moment.
yeah, you're yearning for what you, yeah, something ahead of you, what you're not. Listen, it's a tricky balance. It really is. You know, we want to bring in a future that benefits us, but at the same time, in order to do it, we have to be appreciating and choosing to be in this now moment.
Yeah.
Um, and not always an easy thing to do. But and that's where I was really coming back to, where I think that creativity is one of those ways that we choose to be here in that moment.
Yeah.
The way we choose to participate when we do things creatively and express that, it is one way that we're choosing to be here and be a part of this experience. So, yeah, so I've really been exploring that idea this week, and again, trying to find that happiness, that real happiness. There's been stability and everything, so many other wonderful things brought in, but it's the real joy, the giddy joy that I want to bring in, and how can I, really bring all of that into play. So, and it came to me, with some of this information, that part of it is really choosing to enthusiastically be here, which is not always easy. I get it. So how do we choose to? enthusiastically be here. So that's really what I've been exploring. And I think it's a great question, which is really leading up to the experience that we're going to have in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's how you can enthusiastically be here. And I think it's really going to propel that into that experience. So I can see the whole process laid out. I can see the tracks and where they're going. I'm still exploring along the way. Holy, my face is vibrating. What's going on? That's so weird. That was really weird. Wow.
Emanating from the third eye or from the nose?
No, it was like all my nose and my cheeks started vibrating. It was like tickly vibrating. That was really strange, guys. Was somebody doing that to me?
See if you shape shifted or something.
Keep tweaking my nose. That was funny. Wow, that was unusual.
So yeah, one of the things that I was thinking about when you're waiting like that is I've used the analogy before, but it's like, how often have we been looking for something that's in our hand while we're about to leave the house, like maybe your keys or something, you're like, where the heck are my keys? And you're looking all over, but they're already in your hand.
Yeah.
How often? And that's sort of this idea of waiting for something in the future.
Yeah. That's what's come back to me too this week again. The Dorothy,
Yeah. Look in your hands.
You had it with you the whole time. And that's the heart talking to me. That seems to be what it's really communicating is that concept that it's with you the whole time. Here I am. Do you hear me now? Because I'm here. I'm here. And it's all in here, just ready to burst forward and out into our experience. And you just have to listen. It just wants you to listen now. And that takes being still. Instead of running around the house, you're looking for these keys. If you just stopped within yourself for a moment, you would realize that you have them in your hand, right? Yeah. You're so used to running.
I don't know if you guys know the inner standing guy, Seven Bomar.
No.
But he had a video come out real recently, and he was like laughing at the fact that, we all have the spark of divinity, like right inside our brain. Right behind us, basically. So we're always looking for it, but it's always just behind us. It's like chasing your tail or something. You know what I mean? It's like
and that's why we have to get that perspective of lifting up.
Yeah.
Away, and
take a
step
back.
Take a step back.
Yeah.
Take that step back. You can feel that viewpoint difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, just to mention that quickly, that was one interesting thing I noticed yesterday when I came out of the BQH session.
Yeah.
And then I had the meditation. I did really feel the energy. It was very strange when so it was after, and I fell asleep and I had a nap. And when I woke up, I was like really buzzing. It was like my peripheral vision was larger. It was like I was seeing everything on a super widescreen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a much more awareness visually from back here, it seemed, of all of it. Yeah, it was an interesting experience.
That is really cool.
It was being aware of the view from a much wider angle. Yeah. I was more consciously aware of my peripheral vision as one with the rest of my vision. So that was really kind of cool. Yeah, I wanted to share that.
That is awesome. Yeah, I've heard people doing that whole panoramic thing because it's a limitation that we have in our mind because we can only see 180 degrees at any time.
I think that's one of that attention things, unlimited attention things. And it just seemed, and when I came to, one of the first thoughts was, oh, this has shifted. Like the view was so broad. I was like, oh, something's like shifted here. Something shifted. So yeah, it was interesting. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'll often do is have somebody turn around, but technically they don't need to turn around because they should be able to see every direction when they're a point of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
But we limit ourselves that way.
Yeah. Well, I've seen how we experience that in dream state. I've experienced that, like how you can view something 360 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to understand that experience now. But yeah, I've had that experience in dream of having a full, spatial awareness. So there's definitely different ways to view our environment that we're not experiencing now that can really change our perception, I think, in the future, and how we will move through things and seeing things differently. That's
That's
exciting.
interesting. Anything on the dream front? Either yourself or anything you've heard? I actually had two different people tell me I was crying in their dream. They had a dream that I was crying in their dream. No, what's
Really?
yeah, like one of them. Let's see, one of them was my daughter. We were doing some kind of training, and she said I was just a few years older than her, but she felt like we were like doing some kind of military training or something together. And then we jumped forward to do the real thing, and I had lost someone, and I was like crying about it and unconsolably. You know?
Wow.
So I'm like, wow. And then someone else, and I was like, that's totally not me. I mean, not that I wouldn't be upset if somebody, but if I'm
Yeah.
like, I put it off for a little bit later. I wouldn't like the scenario she painted was just totally not me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. It's processing an aspect. It's purging in their consciousness, not yours. Yeah.
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 But I
It's
just thought it
purging an
was weird.
aspect of
Within a
their
few days
consciousness.
of each other, two people had me
Hmm.
crying in their dream. I'm like, that's weird. Like
Hmm.
maybe you're transmuting my sadness, and I'm not having to deal with it.
Yeah, and
Thanks.
I'm not having to do it. Quite possible, eh?
I
It's
don't
quite
know.
quite
Anything's
possible.
possible.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. That's interesting. I think certainly with your daughter, being her father, that could be her processing an aspect of her own consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Of her own self, being such a pivotal figure that you are as her father.
Yeah.
Hmm. But as opposed to a random person, I don't know.
She's the one that always feels older than me to me.
She's an old
Like
soul. Well,
she
that may very well be that you had a previous experiences in life where usually she is the older
right.
person. I
Well, I was
imagine
still
that's
older.
what
I think I just was just a little bit older. I think in this, but
Hmm.
still, that's just strange.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, she always has had that older soul feeling about her. Like you couldn't BS her and stuff like that when she was young. You had to really like give her the reasons for stuff. You do as a parent. Like you take
Yeah.
the easy option sometimes. You're like, well, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
that's not good enough. I need some real reasons here.
Yeah. I was like that. I was like, I
Me
don't do
too.
baby talk. I never did baby talk.
Yeah.
Grown-ups try to talk to you like you're, yeah. I'm like, why are you talking like that? I talked more maturely than they did.
Yeah, I never did the baby talk thing either. I was always told like it's like, look, they're
Yeah. What's
learning
wrong
they're
with you?
learning they're learning language for the first time, and you're talking all wrong and teaching them to talk wrong. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted them to talk cute. Like, do you want them to be cute or talk properly?
Cute cute can be individually defined, so it's open for interpretation.
Yeah, very true. So
Hmm.
we got one more show before the trip.
Yeah, we get,
1 week from
good for
today.
next week, and then I'm really excited because I'm going to be going and hanging out with my kids for a couple days, and then I'm off to Houston to go see Travis and Tyler, and then I'll be flying out to ECETI. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm
So I
excited
have to
about that.
figure out where you're at on Tuesday, and I might just do like an update because I'm sure I'll be on the. I'll be trying to make my way there somehow. I'll
You
call
on
and
the
figure out
Tuesday
where you're at.
before on the 6th?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'll be flying that day.
maybe we'll
So
catch you at the airport or something, waiting for your next flight or something. Who knows?
yeah, I might be able to record. I don't know how good the Wi-Fi is there for uploading anything, but
Oh, will your phone work in the States?
yeah, with Wi-Fi, yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah. Well, not the number, but yeah,
okay.
I don't do that right now. I got rid of a phone number. Sounds crazy, but
Oh, okay. No, no, I did too.
yeah,
So
yeah. But I don't even bother.
I
It's like an
understand that.
expense. I don't know. With everything you can communicate online, I'm like, I
Yeah,
haven't really
I
needed
did
one.
just fine with
So
that one for a
yeah,
while.
like it's actually great. not have to feel obligated to answer
Mm-hmm.
things you don't want to. So I've never been one for that. I've always been like, you can choose not to answer the door. You can choose not to answer the phone. You like, just put it away,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, excellent. I guess we can wrap this one up and make sure I'm not missing anything here. Love vibrations to all. Yes, to you too. All right. So I guess we are good here. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah, love you guys. Love you, brother.
Love you.
We'll do a little check-in next week, and then we'll be seeing you.
Then it's off to ECETI.
Awesome.
You get to meet in person finally.
Finally.
It'll be fun.
Finally, it's happening to me right in front of my face. Anyways, okay. Sing
All
and
right,
dance.
love you guys.
Sing and dance. Have fun. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Peace.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.